All right, so the winter we just had, as you know, is historic, but not for the good reasons. Our snowpack is at a record low because we really didn't see any big storms in Colorado this winter.
Yeah, and meteorologists are now forecasting a super El Nino event for this year. Meteorologist Chris Bianchi is here to explain how that could make next winter look pretty different.
Yeah, super El Nino. What does that mean? Sounds like a lot of terminology here. So let's start things off with the basics. What is El Nino? All El Nino means warmer than average sea surface temperatures in the central Pacific. La Nina, it's the inverse, below average sea surface temperatures in the central Pacific. The Pacific Ocean, it's massive. So what happens there, because it's by far the largest body of water in the world, domino effect on the rest of the Earth's weather, including right here in Colorado. So we are right now in a La Nina, but might notice that blue line declining and that orange line increasing. This is the official NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's official forecast. The orange line increasing as the year goes on. All that means is that the probabilities for an El Nino are growing. So where does the super part come in? So when we look at a super El Nino, what that means is that the sea surface temperatures in the central Pacific are 2 degrees Celsius or higher compared to average. So it means a really strong El Nino. That's what the super part is. And you start seeing these models, these are official models, and start seeing some of these twos becoming more and more likely as the year wears on. There's a pretty strong indication here that we're not just talking about an El Nino, but we're likely talking about a very strong one, potentially, for this upcoming winter. So what does that mean for us here in Colorado? Here's a look at the last 4 super El Nino events and what they meant for us here in Colorado. Snowpack in 1982-83, we didn't have the official numbers then. It was certainly above average, and in some cases historically high across, especially the northern mountains. Winter Park, Berthoud Pass, around back in 82-83. That was a really big season for those mountains. 97-98, that was a super El Nino. Snowpack statewide, 113% of average. 2015-2016, 93% of average. Now, just give you a little slight asterisk here. 23-24 was not officially a super El Nino. It was super, super close, but I'm lumping it in here. Snowpack was really good for us in Colorado, 131% of average. The other thing to note is that in Denver, average seasonal snow is about 50 inches for us here in Denver. So when you see those first 3 super El Nino events, 72, 72, 72, and 81, a lot of you will remember 82, 83 was a huge winter. In fact, it was the top 5 biggest snow winter on record for us here in Denver. Yeah, we've had some big winters. In fact, the one below average winter was barely below average, 45 inches in 23 and 24. So what tends to happen with a super El Nino event in Colorado is we tend to run a little warmer than average, which creates more moisture, more energy. And so snowpack tends to, again, this is not an exact correlation. I would just say, here'd be my takeaway as a nerd in a suit telling you here at home what this could mean for us for this upcoming winter. Cautious optimism about perhaps a more active winter for us in Colorado. I would certainly say that there will be, more likely than not, more opportunities for big snow events for the Front Range, including Denver, and perhaps for the mountains as well. Especially the central and southern mountains tend to do the best in super El Nino events. So Sam and Phil, at least some cautious optimism for perhaps after this non-winter, after this extended fall, that we will actually see a real winter next year.
Hopefully we make up for it next year.
Fingers crossed.
I know.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Chris, thanks.